Talking about the fees, the other thing I would say is be generous to your co-broker, right?
Yeah.
Pay them what their value is in it, not how cheap you can get it.
That's right.
But what the value equation as compared to what you bring to the table, you're bringing the client, right? Which is the predominant value, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be involved in the deal, that's a referral.
Right.
So don't be onerous.
Welcome to our Industrial Advisors podcast. You have Bill Condon and Matt McGregor, and we are doing a 5-Minute Friday today on hiring co-brokers and the importance of it. And what we are specifically referring to are when we're representing a client and they have a need in another market, how do you go about effectively hiring the right partner and the right teammate on that? And I will say, just starting out, fortunately at Colliers, I think what we do best is having our industrial platform. We do industrial as well as anyone, and we have some great partners and friends across the globe
For sure.
that we have relationships with and have done numerous deals. So let's talk about the best way to go about hiring somebody in another market.
Well said, but also what you need to be cautious of, right? Might be your friend, but is it the right broker for the requirement?
Okay, what's
right?
best for the client is number one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, for example, not every broker is a great land broker, and those are very specific brokers, right? So know the task would be the first thing, and try to match that task to brokers that prove, because all brokers are going to tell you that they can do the requirement, but are they a big box broker? Are they a land broker? Are they a cold storage broker? Whatever the requirement is, do they have the sophistication, knowledge, capacity, the things we all know, make sure they're conflict free,
Yep.
Running that conflict check, and then just making sure that they have a resume for that and that this would be somebody that is ethical, that you can put in front of the client. You're not going to get caught in a bad situation, right?
That's right.
You really got to and I always say interview, at least 3. Understand, because you're going to have nuances that you don't pick up in talking to one person.
That's right. Yeah.
So you interview 3, and the right person out of those 3. Once you get to that third person, is going to stick out usually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing that we found is just highlighting the importance of transparency and doing it early on. You mentioned the conflict check, making sure that, hey, is there any potential conflict, right? And if there's a small chance that there's one, you're being very transparent with the client about it and making the decision based on that. The other thing that's important is addressing the split with your co-brokers up front.
That's a great point.
You want to do that early and outline who's responsible for what, so everyone's on the same page going into
How
a
do
deal.
you normally do that?
We we have the conversation. Once we determine who we want to hire, we outline it in a very detailed email after we have the conversation with them. So there's a paper trail with it as well. So there's no confusion at all. Back early in my career, you'd hear stories. I'd hear brokers co-brokering a deal, and all of a sudden there'd be like a fee dispute at the end. And I was like,
they didn't talk about it.
They didn't talk about
right?
it. So it was like, just address it up front, get everybody on the same page, expectations are laid out, the split's agreed to, and off you go. There's no confusion there at the end.
That's right. And talking about the fees, the other thing I would say is be generous to your co-broker, right?
Yeah.
Pay them what their value is in it, not how cheap you can get it.
That's right.
But what the value equation as compared to what you bring to the table, you're bringing the client, right? Which is the predominant value, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be involved in the deal, that's a referral.
Right.
So don't be onerous, right?
Right.
But if it's a national client where you're going to be expected to know everything about the deal, maybe even travel there or report in on a weekly basis, then you're probably taking a big share of that, right?
Yeah.
But give the co-broker and agree to that up front, make sure they're motivated, be fair about it. Because one thing, and I know you can attest to this, that we see is sometimes the smaller firms that don't have offices, sometimes the tenant rep only firms will come in, hire some young broker because the guy will take 10, 15, 20%. They don't even know if the person's got a conflict, but they're judging that co-broker on how cheap they can get away with it. And that's the wrong approach for the client.
Yeah, if you always just, and the way we look at it is what is best for the client. The best thing for the client is to go hire the best person in that particular market and get their A performance. And the best way to do that is be generous with them, make sure that they're happy. And if you're having a national account and you're doing 30 deals over the course of a year with someone, you want to make sure that client is taken care of.
That's
and
right.
not be disputing an extra 5, 10, 15% on a fee split. Take care of your local brokers. take care of the client, and good things happen.
Yeah, and I will say, again, going back to that, make sure you're all agreed and that person is doing all the right ethical things, because nothing will get you fired faster than your co-broker.
Yeah, it is not a good situation to have the wrong co-broker. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah. So do the homework up front, be transparent, outline it all, and do what's best for the client. Thanks for listening.
Happy Friday.